Match reaction, Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. Your reaction to that game?
Thoroughly deserved to lose that first half. That summed the game up, the way they played. There was no attack. They were passing the ball back, passing the ball sideways. Too many balls given away in the midfield. It was absolutely poor as I've seen. There was just nothing there. Why weren't United coming out in a final on the front foot? Spurs were there to be had, and they just waltzed through that first half. And the second half, shocking.
I must admit, in the first half, it felt like from minute 1, 5 minutes of United, 5 minutes of Tottenham, without any real penetration. Round about that 30th minute mark, the whole game went a bit stale. But then Tottenham popped up with a goal just before half-time.
The game didn't go stale. The game was boring. The game was boring in that first half. But both goalkeepers didn't really have anything to do. Tottenham was solid. You could see that. They were coming at United. Then United would go at them. And then like the last 20 minutes of that first half just sort of died out of death. And then they get a goal, and a stupid goal. Why didn't they cut the cross out? How many times have we seen goals when crosses should have been cut out? It was poor, absolutely poor. And I thought, really, could the goalkeeper have saved it? Was he positioned right? I'm not too sure on that. You decide on that. But absolutely poor. And once you go a goal down, this United side, changes have to be made. And the manager never made them.
I must say, at half-time, you was absolutely barking, shouting that Garnacho or someone from the bench needed to come on for that second half to give Tottenham something to think about and improve the performance from that first half.
Well, how we never changed it from that first half coming out of the second half. You had Shaw there, who was not overlapping. You had Yoro, who wasn't going forward. You had Mazraoui, who wasn't overlapping. Dog, who had a little bit of space, didn't really connect too much on it. But where was the overlapping? Where was the going forward? It wasn't there. A change should have been made at half-time to give Tottenham something to think about. They had nothing to think about. They came out in that second half solid. Let's keep it solid. Let's fight for this. They had something to hang on to. And United, until the substitutes were made, absolutely ineffective. It was poor management, and the players there, some of them, you're supposed to leave it out on the pitch in a cup final, and that's what it was, a cup final. 20 minutes we had the game because they sat back in a solid defence. They were laughing at Man United. Let them have the ball, let them have the ball. And what were they doing with it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The free kicks, what we were having, they were so obvious. Shaw taking free kicks, Bruno they were poor. They were poor. 2 chances we had, and that was Højlund with his header and Shaw right at the death. Apart from that, it was pass, outside, across to the wingers. Absolutely. But Garnacho, he came on, forgot about him with his shot. He was unlucky. Good save by the goalkeeper. But he never got fed the ball enough. Absolutely. Bad tactics, bad attitude, and the way United played, they did not deserve to win.
Before them substitutions come on, I thought United's left-hand side, going from Luke Shaw in particular, Dorgu, Mason Mount further up top, I thought it was really, really poor. There was no connection there, no fluid football at all, where you're stringing a few passes up to get them up the pitch. Luke Shaw, though, we did discuss it, that we expected him to start this game. A wealth of experience at this level as well. And all I ever seen from him was passing back to the goalkeeper or passing to Harry Maguire. There was hardly anything going forward from him.
Very, very, very few players went forward, to be honest with you. But Shaw, he should have gone forward. That's what he does. That's his natural game, and he never did it. I look at Bruno as well. I thought Bruno had a very, very poor game. His free kicks, his passing, he was too slow, too concentrated on waving his arms about again. He should have been playing further forward. But then I look at Mason Mount, especially in that first half, did absolutely nothing. And when you listen to the manager, he praises Mason Mount. Well, I don't know what he's praising him for there tonight, because he was poor. Now, maybe it's the wrong position for him. I don't know. It was just poor in midfield. They should have got control of it more, and they should have gone more forward. And then I look at the substitutions, and let me tell you, that Kobe Mainoo should have been on well before he come on. I just don't understand that substitute right at the end. We should have been more on the front foot, going more forward, and the players there, and it summed it up, the first half, poor.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're talking about poor performances here from players. I'm even saying names here. Is it the players, though, or is it the manager, and is it these tactics? Because the only player that looks like they're showing any bravery, any freedom on the ball is Ahmad week after week when he gets game time. All the others, it's all like they're playing around in a box, and they've got to stay in this box. They can't go out of this box.
The manager takes the blame for that tonight. He set him up. He set him up slowly, work around, pass it around. That's what he was looking at. Where was the forward movement from the team? Not the players, from the team. There was no forward movement. Hoyland might as well have not been on the pitch. And that's not me having a go at Hoyland. The ball just never come to him. There was no service. He set the team up, Amorim, and it was a poor, dismal, slow, methodic football. I was absolutely disgusted in the tactics tonight. It's a final. And to go out like that is absolutely shocking. And I look at it and I think Ruben Amorim has to take the blame how he set that team up. And that first half, once you start like that, you are not getting out of that rhythm once you go a goal behind. And Ruben Amorim did nothing at half-time. He didn't even make a substitution where Tottenham coming out would think, right, they've made a substitution. Give them something to think about. They had nothing to think about. They went straight into that formation, a defensive formation, and had nothing to worry about. They just played solid, and that's what they did. And United, edge of the area, 30 yards out, passing it left, right. There was no penetration whatsoever. Players were stood there waiting for someone to do something. They weren't running into the box when someone had the ball on the edge of the area or just outside the area. Players weren't even running past. At one point there, with 5 minutes to go, there was one player in the box waiting for a cross, and the player never crossed it. That's how poor it was. They weren't up to it tonight. They were not up to it. They had to leave everything on the pitch. And the first half, I think, just killed them. I just think it killed any momentum, what we thought we'd get in the second half, because the manager didn't change it. And we all knew it needed changing up at half-time. Do you know what? I thought the first half was absolutely boring, right? And it had to be changed up. You don't win a final unless you put the effort in and you make changes and you look at it and you say to yourself, the changes should have been made at half-time, and that's the fault of the manager.
And it only looks like we're ever going to score or create something, a little bit of madness in the box, when Harry Maguire actually then goes up front. But again, I'll go back to too many players for me. They look too rigid, setting a tactics, a formation where there's no freedom for him to play and there's any bravery on the ball to go forward, make overlapping runs. And you only ever see it in 10 minutes of a game where it's a situation like that. It's like just throwing the kitchen sink at it.
I think you're right there. There was no freedom. And the first half summed it up. And then like 20 minutes in the second half summed it up. There was no freedom to play football because that team, what he picked, doesn't have freedom. It's rigid. It's side passing. That's the type of football. Backward passing. No penetration, no nothing. I think you're right there. That team had no freedom to express itself. Attacking football. That team was not set up to attack. And that is absolutely disgusting in a European final, and that is down to the manager. I am absolutely fuming with him, right? These players just play too defensively, too passive, and when you play in a final, especially a European final, you have to be on the front foot. You have to put it to the other side, and they just sat there all game virtually, Tottenham, laughing their heads off. It was easy for them.
Yeah, way too much space, I thought, between Casemiro, Bruno, even Mason Mount for the amount of time he was on the pitch, and Hoyland was just left isolated. We've all got our opinions on Hoyland. Some of the stuff he'd done was neat and tidy, but overall, again, no chances for him, no creating him chances for himself. And then, yeah, running out of words. I mean, it's just a very, very disappointing night, to say the least.
Absolutely fuming. That's all I can say about it. And the attack was so poor. It was just non-existent most of that game. It was just sideways passing, poor crossing, poor free kicks, and that's it. So that's me done.
Yeah, that's me done. Let me know though what you think of why Manchester United lost tonight. Do you think it was down to the tactics, the manager, the coaching staff, or do you think it was just too many individual players not stepping up to the levels required? Just let us know in the comments section. Smash a like on the video, and we'll see you again soon. Credit to Tottenham though, they lift the Europa League.